I'm Alex.
I'm Kirby.
And I'm Sleepy. And this is the Real Gamerscore podcast. We are your source for Xbox achievement news, Gamerscore tips, and discussing the perfect game. This week we talk about Trump's gaming tax, Kirby's manga collection, and charging after things. But first, here's the song of the week.
Do you play with blocks like Mr. Rubin? Are you wanting to mine right here, right now, digging deep within? Look inside your chest. Do you have the pieces to craft us a way out right here, right now? Craft fast creepers.
Oh God, I know that I know this song, and I know when you tell it to me in the break, I'm gonna be like, "Oh, do you play with fire?" Am I on the right track?
That might be later lyrics. That's not the lyrics that he sent me for it, like the original lyrics. I did not know the song. This is apparently pretty niche, but it has 3 times the amount of views as my Mumford & Sons song from last week, and in a shorter time period, so use that metric, and we'll figure out if it's any good.
I'm going to kick myself in my own ass when you told me what this song is. I'll be like, oh, of course. No, it's... Yeah, okay. Alright, well, I don't know the song, so if you're in Discord or if you're on finding us on Twitter, you can send through your guesses there. It was a pretty good discussion last week after your very difficult but 16 million view song.
Yeah, 16 million.
No one confidently came in and said they knew it.
Oh, it's alright. I got a lot of flack for picking a song that apparently is the same as every other song they've ever done ever. So,
well, I mean that is a criticism of that band, I believe. So, all right. Well, like I said, if you did want to join us in the Discord, you can find the link to join us at discord.io/realgamerscore. We've got a few new people hanging around the community as well, so it's good to see some fresh faces in there, but it's good to see the old veterans in there as well, hanging out. If you want to support us on Patreon, we would really appreciate that. That would be so very kind of you. You can find us at patreon.com/realgamerscore. We're going to talk about the random to-do list giveaway as well. So if you did want to join the random to-do list competition and enter yourself for eligibility for the giveaway, send a message to random to-do list on True Achievements. That's all one word, random to-do list. And you can send that in, and the answer to the question, which is...
the name of another game with the word sister in it.
Yes, so that's obviously in reference to, what is it, My Big Sister?
My Big Sister.
And what's the prize for this month?
It is, assuming I haven't lost the codes. I mean, I know I've got this month, so I just don't know whether I've hidden last month somewhere. It's all the Ratalaika titles from the last 2 months. And I think they've done one a week for the last 2 months. So I think you're looking at 7 or 8 different titles, which is...
So you're going to easily increase your gamer score by several thousand.
Yeah. You get about 10,000 game score in like 20 minutes of work.
Alright. So yeah, like I said, send that into random to-do list with answer to the question, what is another game with sister? The word sister in the title. That's not My Big Sister. Probably bears mentioning, I probably should have mentioned this straight after the song. Warren's not here this week. We think he might be sleeping, so we hope you had a good sleep in planting.
Yeah.
We'll see you next episode, buddy.
So, yeah, normally we'd wait, but unfortunately I will then be absent for the rest of the week, so wouldn't be able to get edited if we did something post this time, and we hope he has a good morning at work and has a good day.
Yeah. Alright, and as we said, this is episode 43. We are coming up to our 1 year anniversary. I don't actually know what our 1 year anniversary date is, but we're thinking about making some kind of changes, sweeping changes, I suppose.
I was about to say
to the
sweeping
show. You're
changes.
about to say?
We're
Yeah.
changing the name of the show. We're changing. We're not going to be in it anymore. We're going to get 3 new hosts. It's going to.
Yeah.
It's not even going to be about games anymore. We're going to talk about microbiology.
Oh, jeez.
It's going to be a
Real
microbiology.
microbio podcast. It kind of flows. No, not really, but we are thinking of making some changes. So we would like to hear from you, whether you want to put it in Discord or send it to us on any of our social media channels, or even a private message to me or Kirby or Warren. What parts of the show do you like? What parts of the show do you skip past? It's nothing personal. If you don't like listening to the song, which, I mean, actually one person has told me that, but every other person has said they love the song. So, hey, if you don't like it, we want to know, because we make this show. Yes, we have a good time making it, but we make it for you guys out there. So send us a private message if you like. Tell us what you like, what you don't like. If you have any ideas for segments, we've got some ideas kicking around, but happy to hear what the community has to say as well. And we are thinking of potentially opening up some leadership positions within the community. So if you did want to put your hand up for that and help out the community in that type of way, yeah, like I said, get in touch with one of us and let us know, because we would love to, grow our reach, and we're only 3 people.
Yeah.
So
Take
we
a
could
stab.
use some help.
Take a stab at when we started.
Around middle of June 2018. No.
Think about
middle
when
of
it is
July.
now.
Middle of July 2018.
That's not bad. August 2nd.
Okay.
Because we had a week or 2 off
Week or
around
2 at
Christmas and New
Christmas.
Year's, yeah. Which weird, because Christmas and New Year's were Tuesdays, which I don't think we're going to record on those days.
You're having a few cans with your family, and then you're like, right, I've got to go and record. See you later, family. Get out of my house. Probably not going to go down so well.
No, definitely not.
All right. Well, this week, weird to have kind of a slow news week in the lead up to E3. What are we, 2 weeks from E3? Is it 10th of June?
It's under 20 days. E3 itself won't start till the weekend. It's after all the presses, isn't it?
All I know is that at the 10th of June, Monday the 10th of June, at about 6 a.m.
your time,
is when the Microsoft conference is on.
Yeah.
I was wishing, not that I want to get up early, but I was wishing it was at 5, because they usually go for an hour and a half. So
Why
so I could watch it all before I go to work.
There's no work. It's Queen's birthday.
Oh, that's so
I know.
good.
I just discovered that as well. No,
Yes!
Shadowless told me in the pro subscriber Discord for TA. Yeah.
I saw that. I was going to join it. But then I figured there's like 600 people in there. And...
I'll tell you how many there is.
Oh, but that's good news, though. Queen's birthday. Yes, man. I can watch the whole thing. I mean, I'll even watch Bethesda after. I think that's at about 10 a.m. or something, is it?
Yeah. There's about 80 or so people in there at the moment.
Okay.
So it's still reasonably small. Yeah, I know. I was like, okay, I guess I can watch this, and then I have to go to work, and I won't be able to see this because I'll be at work. Because I'd really like to see the Square show, but
That was towards the end, wasn't it? On the 12th or something?
Yeah, they've got the Sony spot now, so I'll be definitely at work during that time. We'll be able to see the Devolver Digital one as well, because I think that's on the Monday our time. So you will enjoy that.
I like to watch them, even if I'm not interested in anything that's coming out. I just like to watch their press conferences.
I think the first one was a lot better than the second one. I think this year...
Was the second one last year as well?
Yeah, second one was last year. As far as I know. Maybe they did ones before this, but yeah, I feel it's kind of too on the nose with all, like, it was too nudge nudge wink wink, look at that joke we just did last year. Nudge nudge wink wink, look at that self-reference we just made to our first one. But I mean, it still wasn't bad. Unfortunately, half the games don't come to Xbox, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
They did do Enter the Gungeon, so...
They did Shadow Warrior, which I assume they did Shadow Warrior 2, which is just full of Wang jokes, which I'm looking forward to. I don't want to say playing with Wang. I'm looking forward to
One of my best
playing
friends'
a game
name is
where-
Wang.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding though. He's Vietnamese.
I shouldn't be allowing you to get me sidetracked.
No,
Like
but
this.
that's
This is for
genuinely his
non-Alex
name.
Shows. All right. Okay. Does he star in Shadow Warrior?
No,
Okay.
he
All right.
works
So-
IT company. Of course he does, but
Oh, I was going to say that, mate. All right, well, tell me. So we got only one news article this week. So we're saying lead up to E3 is usually where all the pipes
yeah,
start
usually
leaking all over the place.
and I don't necessarily want to comment on leaks either. There have been leaks. A lot of them have been fairly safe bets. Oh, there's going to be a new Rare IP. Well, yeah, of course there is. Oh, Microsoft has bought some new studios. Well, yeah, of course they are. They wanted 20 studios total by 2020. They're not at 20. They're probably going to announce some purchases.
No
Like-
way.
Yeah. Oh, they're going to show off Gears 5. Be pretty dumb if they didn't, to be honest. Like, the leaks that have come out, nothing's been sort of out of left field and so crazy. You'd be like, wow, this is happening. It's kind of like, oh, yeah, okay. I guess if it happens, I'll be like, whatever. If it doesn't happen, I'll be like, whatever.
Not like Rage 2 last year. That came out of
Yeah.
nowhere.
I think that, one of the craziest things is a Perfect Dark sequel or reboot or something. So, like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's
Yeah.
kind of like, okay, yeah, if it comes out, yay. If it doesn't, yay.
That's a no thanks from me.
So, it's not really too insane.
All right. So tell us about this one news article that we've got.
Yeah, well, it's going to be weird talking about this without planting, given that
Yes.
really doesn't affect us at all as Australians. But and I'm not going to be talking about this like I'm an expert about all this, everything that's going on. But essentially, Trump is looking to increase the tariffs in place on Chinese products as they sort of continue negotiations about their trade deals. They don't have any negotiations in the upcoming future, like that everything's pretty far out as far as I'm aware. One of those tariffs, though, includes a 25% tariff on electronics, which, sort of doesn't sound like much until you think and remember that most of the Nintendo Switch is made in China. A lot of what Microsoft and Sony does has, what am I thinking of? Parts and processes happening in China. So
The labour.
Yeah, labour, that sort of thing, and where their workflow goes through there. It kind of means that when the products get to America, Microsoft is then having to pay 25% tax on that product to the government to get it into the country. And, I get the feeling Microsoft is not going to say, don't worry, everyone, we'll take that cost on our chest. You guys just pay the $400 that the console is going to be. We'll take that extra 100 and we'll eat that cost. I really feel like they're not going to do that. I don't know many companies that would. So essentially, gaming consoles, possibly other hardware like controllers and stuff, are going to be more expensive in America by 25%, which, as we get into a new console generation, is going to have an impact. I think pricing now sort of becomes more of an important point for winning the start of the generation. If your 25% extra tax is a lot less, then that becomes a lot more favourable.
Well, I think it's hard to dispute that was definitely an upside for Sony. I mean, obviously Microsoft shot themselves in the foot with the Don Matrick address, which has been done to death, but they were also, what was it, $150 more expensive
At
or
launch.
$100 more expensive than the PlayStation was. So
I think it was 100, yeah.
Yeah, price point is, very important. And I think there's probably a lot to be said about, maybe taking that hit of $50 or $100 and, taking a loss for a little while to get ahead in the generation to make it up in peripherals and game sales, perhaps. But I'm sure that Microsoft and Sony both have teams that work on this stuff and go, all right, let's analyze all the factors and go, okay, it's going to be $650.
Yeah.
And I think, if I remember correctly, to the generation before, I know I paid $650 for an Xbox 360, but didn't the PlayStation, at launch, $650? Kirby's
Really?
looking at me like, are you tripping? No, I'm not tripping. But I think the PlayStation was up around the $1,000 mark, wasn't it? PlayStation 3? That one I'm not 100% sure of. I'm talking about Australian dollars.
Yeah, I'm looking at... What is the Xbox 360 core system?
What?
Okay.
What are you Googling?
X360 Australian release date and price announced.
Yeah.
Xbox 360, $649.95. Xbox 360 core system at $500.
Was that the one that only had the 4GB?
Xbox core system includes the console, composite AV cable, and wired controller.
Ooh.
The
Gross.
normal Xbox 360 had a 20GB hard drive, media
Yes.
remote, wireless controller, component high-def cable, and Ethernet cable. Xbox 360 core delivered the same experience as the 360 gaming-wise, but basically it just started you with the basic, and you could buy then a 20GB hard drive yourself if you didn't want the Ethernet cable because you already have one. You didn't need to... I guess, again, this is all me talking out of this article because I had no idea.
But yeah, it was $650. So that's what I paid for
I'm
it.
fairly
I spent
certain
$1,000 on
the PlayStation 3 was more expensive. So the better one, do you know which one was the better one of the two launch PlayStation 3s?
I didn't know there was more than one.
There was two. One with a 20GB hard drive and one with a 60GB.
Oh, did they come out at the same time?
They did.
Right.
Which one was the better one?
But didn't Yellow Light of Death?
No, neither. I don't know. No, I don't know which of them specifically did. One of them was better for a very specific reason.
I don't know. Tell me.
The 20GB hard drive one was better because it came with whatever internal that allowed it to be backwards compatible. You could play your PlayStation 2 games on the PS3. The 60GB one did not.
Who would want that, right?
I know, but I don't know why they did it that way, but I know I got to... And it's not as easy to add more space to a PlayStation than it is an Xbox. Like, you just plug in a hard drive, you're done. On the PlayStation 3, you actually have to change the internals. So you just swap out the internal hard drive and connect it up, and it's good to go. But obviously that's more work than just plugging in an external. So there was... If you knew what you were doing, there was no reason to not get a 20GB hard drive that could play your old games.
So what was the price point?
Well, the 20GB was $829, and the 60GB was $999. So yeah, you were right. And I got a 60GB.
Yeah,
I think I got one for Christmas. My mate got a 20GB. He was mad jelly because he could play all his PlayStation 2 games on it. I'm like, God damn it.
True crime, Streets of LA, man. That was a game. Yeah.
This is not it, but I have a PlayStation 3 here. Where's this from? When's this from? I don't think it's going to tell me.
Show and tells don't work for podcasts, Chin.
No, I did this last 2 weeks ago as well when you weren't here.
I know, I heard it.
It's great. I love showing off all my random stuff that I find under my desk. No idea. It's pretty recent. I think actually that's my Asian PlayStation 3. Just because I bought it off a mate who was from Hong Kong. So circle is yes and X is no.
What?
Because
not right.
that's how it works in Asia. Circle is correct. So when you get, like in schools, if you wrote an answer and you got it circled, that means that was right. And a tick or a cross was wrong. Because that's how this is. And that's why, and I spoke about this in the CAG Discord. That's why on Nintendo Switch, the B for no is down the bottom. Because that's where it is in a PlayStation controller. Because X is no. So that's how it works for Japanese gamers. That's why B for no is down the bottom. And yes, A is on the right. Xbox is the only one that technically does it different.
So, alright. That's your
Fun
Asian
fact.
controller button educational part of the show done. So the long story short is that potentially things are going to be 25% more expensive.
and
in the US.
China's not going to back down. Just
Yeah.
the
I guess the one positive thing that I think, understanding a little bit about economics, is that if something is going to cost 25% more to get it from China, then maybe that will promote jobs and growth within America.
Yep.
Because I don't know what the disparity is to get something developed in a different country, but if it's less than 25% more expensive, maybe it grows jobs in the US instead.
Okay. The problem with that in the short term is if you have your whole flow through working through China, moving all of that is very expensive.
Oh, of course it is.
Moving all that and getting the efficiency back to where... Because so essentially, if you think you're getting more efficient and slightly more cheaper every single time you make a console this exact same way, so the Xboxes now, in terms of efficiency and stuff, are costing less to make because they're slightly quicker and better with materials and stuff. Did I say 360? I meant One.
I presumed you meant
the
Xbox One. But
Xbox, yeah. So by moving that, you then start over as if you were starting your entire production at scratch, essentially.
Yeah, but if you are like contracting out to say, I don't know where these companies are based, but say you contract out to AMD, who might be an Asian company, to make the chips for your consoles. Maybe you go, oh, okay, we can save 25% and go to HP in America. Like I said, I don't know where...
Who have never made the chips specifically for your console, who have to relearn, who essentially learn how to do it properly.
Yeah, but AMD didn't make them before they started making them either. It's not impossible.
Yeah, but you're essentially
Your
going
dogs
back
are agreeing with me.
Yeah, no, you're going back to when you started making the console then. Like that same time point.
No, you just change where the different bits and pieces can come from. Not everything.
If AMD are making the chip, they're not going to tell HP how to do it.
No, Microsoft can help them.
Microsoft won't know. If you're contracting out that
know
work,
a little bit about it.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like they're not the ones running it. They don't know. Like so they won't know. Actually, if you put this person who does job number 3 in the spot of job number 2 and swap them, it actually works out 10% quicker. Like that sort of stuff they don't know. That factory level stuff they haven't learned yet. I'm not saying it won't be cheaper, but
like the controllers, the peripherals. Look, I'm making a broad assumption that they're all made in China, which I don't know if that's accurate. But look, I'm just saying there's a potential.
Yeah, there is a potential.
And 25% is a big potential.
With the new console generation, that becomes slightly more feasible because then you're sort of starting at scratch wherever because it's a brand new system being created.
Yeah, but that's why you put something out to a tender. You go, well, we know that Xbox One costs us $100 million for research and development. Let's put it out to a tender and suggest who might, in America, be able to do that. You put it out to a tender, you've got a fixed cost, within reasons. Anyway.
I mean, it's the same reason, though, that they left the Xbox One S all digital as the exact same console with the disc drive removed. Like the exact same size and everything.
Because it's so much easier, yeah.
Because
everything's the same.
Because, you don't need to then relearn all the steps in doing it. You just do it and skip the disc drive step.
Yeah, exactly. And that part makes sense. Anyway, we've gone about this. I'm actually really excited about the next item. So, being that there wasn't much in the way of news, we brought back a topic. Something that I'd been thinking about for quite a while. And I don't know if I've talked about this before. But there's something that we'd like to hear about in the Discord, on the Twitter, on all the socials. Just kind of a description of what is your perfect game, or as close to it as you can get.
Yeah.
So,
do you mean what game do we think is perfect, or a brand new game, and this is what our perfect game would be?
Yeah, something that would be for you. You would hands down not an existing game. describe a type of game that you would give a 10 out of 10 and that you would just love to play. So, do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
You floated it out. Let me hear what you've got, because I know we're gonna have very vastly different games.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I've gone on record as saying I'm not a big fan of VR, and that's
but
still
he can win.
You're my teammate quite a bit of the time. That's a self-burn, bro.
I know. If perfect game would be Rocket League, but we win every time.
Okay. Okay, all right. That segment's done.
Yep.
Now let's go.
Moving on to
yeah. So, I think about this quite a lot. Like, what would happen if there was a zombie apocalypse right now? So I don't know what you talk about with your friends when you're hanging out, and this is probably not true of me.
We usually record a podcast.
Yeah, but what would happen if there was a zombie apocalypse right now? And there's been many a times where I've been drinking beers, we've been having this conversation, and I'm like, I've had, 15 beers right now. I really hope it's not right now. The zombie apocalypse happens. I have thought that thought quite a lot, more than I care to. But what I'd like to have is, say you have, and I don't actually really think this game is particularly feasible, but it's an open world game.
Everything's feasible. Whatever this game you describe
if
is
money's
works
no
perfectly.
option.
Yep, money's no. Although that's we could go into why having too much money is a bad thing, but
if there are video game developers out there that want to private message me about this, feel free to. I'm at ProfessorPluto on Twitter. You can get me there.
ProfessorPluto1 on Twitch.
That's true. But so it's an open world game, and it takes you to the point of where you are right at that moment, and a zombie apocalypse starts. So obviously for most of us that would be at home. We were playing Xbox. So it kind of feeds through like something like Google Maps, which actually maps out your areas.
Okay.
And like the shops in your area. So it's like, I mean, we live in Australia, so this might come as a surprise to some people living in America, but there are not gun shops very often in Australia. So knowing the location of one, at least in Metro Melbourne, would be a godsend.
Yeah, I've got a rifle club or a firearms sort of club where they do stuff, and we've had a couple sort of local Commonwealth Games athletes and stuff. Not quite Olympic athletes, but so I think I have something within 5 minutes. I don't know whether I doubt they would keep weapons there. Like I think everyone would just bring their own from their safes or whatever. I don't know. I've never been, but yeah,
they probably would bring them from their safes. They have to be locked up when they're not being used.
Outside of that, geez, I don't think there's anything in an hour's drive that I can think of this is a weapons shop. You can get weapons here.
Yeah. So, like I said, knowing something like that would help you tremendously in this game. So I guess by default in Australia we're on hard mode. But so the zombie apocalypse starts. You're at home, and that's where it starts. The gun shop that's 10 kilometers away from my house in the game is 10 kilometers away, and you need to make it there. And it has a realistic spread of the zombies, or as realistic as a simulation could get. But you can pick up, weapons that are randomly spawned. I mean, you could pick up a chair, a dining table chair, and hit a zombie with it. You know, you can pick up everything. Everything's interactable.
Yeah,
but you can
and works like it's.
Yeah,
it's not like janky. It's good.
Yeah,
it's smooth.
Like I could pick up my vacuum cleaner handle if I wanted to. You know what I mean? You pick it up. Anyway, I'm getting
dual wield Maggie and Kiska.
Semantics. Yeah, okay.
Face.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
But I was just thinking that would be awesome, and the idea would be to meet up. I've kind of haven't been really sold on whether you can play it online with your friends, because if you can play it online with your friends, you can also play it online with not your friends, and if you die, you have to restart
and wait.
So
yeah,
I'm not so sure on that particular online, but co-op play would be awesome. But yeah, I reckon that game for me. And I thought about the VR aspects. I go, if this was a game that was in VR, I could get behind this. I could spend a lot of time in it. But it's just like an open world, so I could walk into like my neighbours' houses and be like, oh, what do my neighbours get up to? And it's procedurally generated. But you don't ever wonder what your neighbours are doing?
No, I'm quite content not knowing what they're doing in the privacy of their own home.
Well, in a zombie apocalypse, you go into other people's houses to try and find stuff. So, you might walk into a house where it's like, so, a couple have gone, nah, stuff this, I'm not being around for a zombie apocalypse. You might find them holding hands on a bed and they've both,
Off
had
themselves,
20
yeah.
packets of Panadol or something. So, you know what I mean?
That's how we've
But
got to do it.
that's
Overdosing that Panadol.
I was going to say, and they shot themselves in the head, but I'm like,
They
it's
wouldn't have,
Australia,
yeah.
they probably didn't do that. So, yeah, just something like that where there's a lot of interesting things to go and see and do, but also you're not at a realistic threat of actual zombie apocalypse.
So you'd have to have that realism of, the apocalypse was starting at hospitals, in morgues, and at cemeteries. That's where the spread starts. Something
like that.
Like, initially you wouldn't leave your house and there'd be zombies everywhere because there's just not that many dead. I don't think there's that many dead people around you. I don't know. Melbourne's probably a lot different than Darwin, to be honest. You probably do have a fair few dead people hanging around you don't know about, to be honest.
Yeah, there might be. The bottom of that creek that's at my local university.
Out the trunk of someone's car,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
But I think that potentially it's possible because there's so much of the world that's mapped by Google Maps.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can put that into a game, then you can procedurally generate what's inside the houses based on their real dimensions.
And the area, the slums type area is probably not going to have fancy vases that you can throw at the zombies. They're probably, going to have less things in their house that would be viable weapons. Stuff like that, yeah.
So I think something like that, like I said, the VR aspect I think appeals to me in that because I think it'd be a really surreal experience, especially if you're running around your own neighborhood. And I guess this is for people that have seen their neighborhoods in video games, like the new Spider-Man video game, or parts of the Grand Theft Auto games, which are based in certain sections of America.
Yep.
If you were running around literally your own neighborhood trying to survive from zombies, I think that would be exhilarating.
Yeah, I don't think I'll ever see my area in a video game.
Probably
it's
not.
Not going to happen. Melbourne's a bit more likely than where I am now. Yeah,
that's true.
All right. Yeah, I can see. My only issue then becomes you need some kind of. Unfortunately, you need some kind of leveling up system because someone that knows how to use a weapon in real life is going to want to have a better weapon stat, than Shaky Hands McGee who can't reload properly because he's never touched a gun before in his life,
Yeah, that would be good to have a skill tree in it. Like the more you swing at zombies and
dynamic
zombies.
skill tree, like what Skyrim did, where if you wanted to get better at one-handed weapons, use one-handed weapons and you will get better. Yeah,
exactly like that. And if you, if you're with a co-op buddy or yourself, you get hurt a lot, and you figure out ways to heal it.
Yeah.
Then you increase your medical stats, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I kind of haven't really thought about is whether the world persists while you're not there. I think the realism probably needs to stop at that point.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you go to sleep like you're playing a game like Rust. You go to sleep, you wake up and you're dead.
Yep. You're not dead. Your base is destroyed. But because you're not still there when you log out.
Oh, okay.
But everything you have is there. I think. I have never played the game, but if it works in the same way as most of the other games similar, that's how that happens. I think it'd have to be your session that you're in is the session, and you can that's it. If you leave the game, your session resets. Like
So you start again every time you
yeah,
start.
you start again every time. I think that's the only way to make that work. Like not even, especially if you're playing co-op, no saving because
Yeah, I'm
Like you-
kind of willing to forego parts of that. Like you could have separate modes where you could save.
yeah, I'd be
but
okay
also
with
you
that.
have a survival mode if you want to go,
Yeah.
you know, and you can save for when you log off, which might allow you to have
Yeah, so-
one
and then
save per day or something.
Co-op would be if one leaves, you both leave, or
Yeah.
everyone leaves. You know, that's how that'd have to work. Otherwise, I don't know. Otherwise, you'd end up going. Your mates would bugger off to wherever else, and you'd spawn back in the next day
At the same spot.
at the same spot, surrounded by zombies. You go, well, that's no fun for me
Yeah.
because your house got overrun, and your mates didn't defend the house and left because that was the smart decision. Yeah.
Yeah. But I also was thinking about the survival aspects, like you need to eat food, you need to drink water, you know, maintain shelter, warmth, you know, not wearing a big woolly jacket when it's 45 degrees outside because that's Darwin all the time in summer.
Yep. Lovely singlet weather,
No, yeah.
singlet and a jumper.
So anyway, that's my game. That's what I've been thinking of. So I guess, have I given you a bit of an idea what your game might be? Can I make a prediction about one aspect of your game
Sure.
before you?
Yeah.
Is it going to have roguelite aspects?
No. I hate roguelites. I love them, but I hate them. I don't.
Okay,
my perfect
alright.
game is not a roguelite.
I guess
Ever.
my game kind of has some roguelite
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, with the
elements,
leveling and the restarting.
Yeah.
I was kind of. I was tossing up between. Is it a game that I could play forever? Like, this is the game I would want to play forever. Or, you know, it's a one and done. It's a perfect experience. You never want to touch it again, but it was... You know what I mean? Like, a game you want to play forever isn't necessarily
Perfect for an achievement
because...
hunter?
Not even just for an achievement. Like, for example, Monster Hunter World. Really good game. One of those games you could play for a really long time, just naturally as they add different things. Rocket League is the replayability's there. It's not a perfect game. You know, the singular experience of an hour with Rocket League, for example, is not perfect. There's
Too many bad teammates, you're right.
you know, but you know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm describing two normal games, what Remains of Edith Finch is a more perfect game than Rocket League. Just because it's what it is doing with its experience is like, yeah, there's no replayability, but it's there, it's done, it does exactly what it sets out to do, and sort of you get what you want from it. You don't necessarily need to keep playing it forever to be a perfect game.
But is that the perfect game for you?
No, it is a perfect game. Not, you know, not perfect game, but you know what I mean. Like, it's a more perfect game. I went with the what is the game that if I had one game, I could only play one game, and it's this imaginary game that I'm going with, and this is the only game I get for the rest of my life. This is what I'm going with. So
Okay.
that's where I'm coming from, rather than this was a perfect experience. This is the game that every game wants to sort of look up to and see this, you know, they executed what they did perfectly and it's great. No, this is my play forever game. I think it has to go in an action RPG vein. So, in the combat style of your, like, Final Fantasy 15, the Monster Hunter World.
So the real time, not the turn-based?
Yeah, not turn-based, the real time, moving around, fighting. Yeah, it's tough because I do want to pull from so many different places, but then I go, yeah, that's not really. Look,
You
WoW
say Final
Classic.
Fantasy
WoW
VII?
Classic's my perfect game. Done.
WoW Classic, oh boy.
I don't. Yeah, you gave me time to think about it, but I spent so much time talking about your perfect game that I didn't.
Would you play my perfect game with me?
once on ChinDocta.
On Shin? Oh.
The achievements are going to be horrible, man. It's going to be survive for 100 days and kill 49,582 zombies.
But I feel like, I mean, I don't want to take the time away from talking about your game, but I feel like this would be a game as a service that I would actually like to play, and maybe every few months.
But then would we start? I would start in Darwin and you'd start in Melbourne, because that wouldn't work.
You could have an option for that. I don't think that would work too well because that's what 1,000 kilometers away.
That's about
actually
it's probably 4.5 hour plane ride, 5 hour plane ride.
So maybe not.
Yeah.
But like if you lived a few suburbs away from me,
that would work.
That could be something, and we need to link up and then go from there.
Touch tips.
But maybe not that. So we could meet up, we could do that, but I think having that as a games with a service would be really interesting because they could put events, like not raids necessarily, well, maybe even raids, but you go, okay, in Melbourne CBD, you hear a rumour that there's, a stash of guns or something, which for Australia would be a big deal. 3 guns, yes. Maybe 4. There's a pistol as well. We're not sure. Unconfirmed sightings. But so you go there, and if it was a game that was online PvP, maybe you have other people that try and, get there. Otherwise, if it's PvE, then you go there, and it's just because it's in Melbourne CBD, it's zombies everywhere. So you have to really strategize on how you're going to get to this cache of weapons or whatever it is. But they could put in achievements for completing that, getting to the stash.
Yeah.
I think it would be pretty easy to put events in. Anyway, I've got sidetracked on.
Yeah, no, you're right. I've just given me time to think. So, it's kind of made me think of the last couple months or so, I've been reading a specific genre of manga. It's called isekai, which essentially means another world. And it says you obviously will have no idea when I describe it. You're like, I don't know anything that's like that. But essentially it's the storyline of you've died in your real world and are reborn in the fantasy world as usually they're overpowered characters, but I wouldn't want that in this case. But it's essentially that it's again, almost like that VR thing that you're on about, where you're in the game and, learning to cast spells, for example, actually requires sort of proper knowledge of how to do it, how to draw the mana out and how to formulate it into a fireball that you can then sort of propel towards something. And it's got the quest boards where you are getting your F rank quests and you level up to A rank or whatever eventually. I mean, I'm just kind of describing VR Monster Hunter, but it's such a, for the moment at least for me, it's a trope that I'm really into, and it's something I could play forever. Where you can.
What would the story be like?
Standard isekai manga story. There's a demon king that you need to take down. The chosen hero, but it's trope heavy. That's how these things go. These fantasy games and fantasy in general is all tropes, and it's the dark skinned characters like dark elves and stuff are evil. And humans and elves and that are the good characters, and they, that sort of thing. So, it doesn't sound like a very interesting game, but having to learn swordplay properly, so having to actually learn how to parry, how to, riposte and counter attack and stuff, and having the awareness of different armor being heavier, so you're not going to run as fast in this armor, and having to track certain monsters and go into dungeons and do the standard fantasy quest things that you do. I think that would be something I would play forever. Like, and you know, you'd have to have. Oh, you'd have to have multiple achievements for reaching the end game with your different types of characters, your different classes. So your mage, so that you do then have to go back and learn a completely different playstyle, because your mage is not going to run into the front line and cut. You know, all your sword play skills are going to be useless because that doesn't benefit you as a mage. You know. Yeah, it's not the most interesting in terms of unique, but
what about a different story for each of your characters? So I'm just plucking them out of thin air here, but for your mage, you're going to go and destroy the demon.
Mm-hmm.
For your swordplay soldier, you're going to go and rescue the princess.
Yeah.
You know,
for your shopkeep, you are going to have an empire.
Yeah.
Like, you could be a trader and need to hire other players as guards to escort you from one city to the next, because you've put all your skill points into bargaining and haggling and stuff. Yeah.
But I think that would help your replayability, so you're not just destroying the dark demon three or four times in a row.
Yeah. Having different endgame objectives, you know. You I mean, and then you can get...
Like crossover between the stories as well, if you had different stories, different parts.
I'd want a whole save where I'm just a blacksmith and I just spend like that. It's all of my stuff is just mundane things that I just want to do over and over again. But that's what I enjoy. I enjoy that, not necessarily grind, but where you feel that you're making progress. It's a grind where you can see. And you feel like you're making progress. It's not getting 100,000 kills and you're like, I don't like it's the exact same thing over and over. And I'm not gonna be any more efficient. I'm just, you know what I mean.
And when you're smithing your metals, and smelting and doing all that, the local trader that sells you the metals implements a 25% tax. And his name's Glump.
Yeah,
President Glump. And you got to, seek out alternatives so your business remains viable. So you go to the other town over, and
but they're not as efficient as Glump, so they're making less.
So Joe Barmer in the other town, he's 20% less efficient, but he costs 25% less. Do you take a risk? These are real life Kirby Perfect Game considerations.
Oh, that's my perfect game. And it's called... What's your perfect game called?
Yet another zombie open
Defense
world
HD.
game. I don't know. I didn't think about the name of it. Let me think. I'll see if I can think of something while we record in terms of a game name.
I got mine.
Alright.
Monster Hunter World, or potentially another profession depending on how you feel for this save.
You just sold 0 copies.
How good is that? Monster Hunter World, where you've been reborn as potentially a mage or a soldier or a blacksmith, and you have to sort of live out your daily life until you die. That's a good game. That's a perfect game right now.
Alright. I'll see if I can remember to come back and think of a game name. But that's alright. So in terms of perfect games, if you are in our Discord, like I said earlier, if you're in our Discord or if you're finding us on Twitter or anywhere you can find any of us on True Achievements, send us a private message or send us a tweet or anything like that and describe what your perfect game would be, because I think it's a very interesting topic and should get a bit of conversation going there.
And then I can comment on how you're wrong. That's my favourite thing.
You didn't comment on how my game was wrong, so I appreciate that.
No, because I understand that you're weird, so that's fine.
You pulled from an obscure manga.
It's. Right. I mean, there are a lot of. It's a genre of manga. It's like a genre of book. It's a very. Yeah. It's very. I'm well into it. I've got probably 40 or 50 that I'm currently reading of that genre.
All right. Okay, and in terms of the review this week, so with Warren not being here, it's Warren and Kirby review. So we're going to get that recorded maybe over the weekend sometime. Not 100% sure when everyone's back on deck, but hopefully over the weekend, and we'll get that up on the YouTube channel, hopefully also over the weekend. And we'll have it feature on next week's show. So next week we'll have 2 reviews. I think that's what we said, yeah?
Yeah, unfortunately, the normal scheduled sort of recording period, I had to go to work. I got called in, and then Warren is now at work, definitely working and not sleeping, definitely working. So he's not with us this morning.
Yes, this morning US time, this evening real Australian time.
As opposed to fake Australian time, or?
Yeah, Western Australia, it's not real. Come on, you know that, mate. 3-hour difference, what are they doing? Well, we're going to go over to what we've been playing this week. So, Kirby, why don't you go first, mate? I mean, you go first every week, so why not this week?
Sure. Honestly, I didn't play much or earn many achievements this week. It was mostly
same Rocket League.
Yeah, stuff where I've got the completion, so I didn't earn much. I was going to quickly mention the game that we'd reviewed, but I won't do that now. So it's a good game though. I'm enjoying it. It's that just you're doing mundane little tasks over and over, and other things are happening that you can deal with. Funny that I enjoy those kinds of games. I did play a lot of Rocket League and Realm Royale this weekend. Oh, not even this weekend, this week period. Because I've been off Realm Royale for a little bit. I got back into it thinking, it's coming up to the end of the Battle Pass or whatever they call it. I will look at how many levels I am away from the end and see if I can hit that end whatever point. I'm like at 23 of 50, and there's I think today there'll be 17 days left. So probably not gonna reach that final one. So, but we'll see. There's a couple double experience weekends and I might just smash it out. The problem is they give so little experience for a win. So at the moment I need 9,500 experience to level up. A win where I get maybe 10 to 15 kills gives me probably around 1,500 experience. So you need, and it takes 25 minutes maybe, sort of around that time. So you need that 7 times, 2.5 hours to level up. It's
that sounds gross.
Yeah, so Rocket League, the way Rocket League does it, you win maybe 3 matches, 4 matches, and you'll probably level up. Something like that.
That's less than half an hour.
Yep. And that's, it's not, again, you feel like you're making progress. You don't feel like you've put in all this work and, oh, cool, I've gone up 0.25% to the next level. Awesome. But yeah, no. Played Rocket League as well. I'm using new camera settings. And
yeah.
So
was it you that talked to me about this during the week?
Maybe.
No, was it Jimbot?
Jimbot was
or Daniel
talking about
JJ
stuff.
was saying
Jimbot
my camera settings are wide and weird.
Yeah. Yours is super zoomed out, man.
I like to see everything.
Yeah. Mine are essentially slightly further back than how I had them, and it makes me feel like I'm playing slower. I feel like I'm slower, but I can obviously see a bit more of the pitch. I'm reading the ball better and reading it off opponents better, but I feel like I'm getting to balls slower than I was before, which obviously I'm not because everything is the same speed, but I just need to get used to it, and I guess it means my positioning is probably not as good as it was before. If I'm not getting to balls I would normally, it means this new camera is making me sit further back or whatever, but yeah, I just got to get used to it. I think it's going to be better in the long run, but short term I'm not doing so crash hot. But yeah, obviously didn't earn any achievements in either of those games because I have them all. Yeah, I already have the completion, so... Realm Royale, I just quickly going back to Realm Royale, they're still putting out updates and stuff, like... The fact they're having double XP weekends to winding down the Battle Pass or whatever, and they just dropped some update on the Switch with cross progression and stuff, so it's... They've got like 3 people playing it, and the updates are coming fast, so it's weird. I don't know who...
Must be making some money off it, I guess.
Yeah, they dropped a reasonably big update the other week, that or a week or 2 ago, that added a lot of quality of life things, but it was like, who other than me is experiencing this? I've met... I mean, I think it's more popular on the American servers and on PC as well, but in the last week and a half, I've seen one other person.
Is that the game that Shadow was playing? Shadowless Edge?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And got me into, and then got me into after he finished, and I was like, oh, I guess I will play it, yeah. And then, no, it's a good game, though. I enjoy it. I'll play it with anyone at this point. Like, if anyone wants to play, I'm definitely down. The one game I did play and get a lot of achievements in was Aftercharge. So it had a triple XP weekend this weekend. It's in Game Pass, so that's how I have access to it. Didn't have to buy it, luckily. The triple XP weekend is celebrating a new update coming out, so good on them.
What is this game about? So I'm reading what you've got here, but
yeah.
I've heard the name, but I've not heard anything else about it.
Yeah, essentially it's a 3v3 versus game. You're in a small-ish arena. It's not particularly big. One side are enforcers, and they have guns, and, I mean, all the characters have abilities, but these guys have guns. One character's got a shotgun, the other's got a sniper rifle type gun, those sorts of things. And their job is to essentially protect these big things called extractors. They give you energy, because all the shooters' health is based in energy, and every bullet and ability use takes energy, so standing near the pillars recharges you. And to win the round, they need to kill all 3 of the enemy team essentially at the same time, because the enemy team can revive themselves. You, as an enforcer with a gun, can't die. If you don't have energy, you can't shoot the bad guys. The other team are called Work Onyx. They don't have any weapons aside from their fists, but they have different abilities, like one can provide a shield for a teammate, one can put a bubble around himself, or around the area that he's at, which can't be penetrated by the enforcers until it's destroyed. And their job is to break the extractors. So you punch it until it's destroyed. If all of them get destroyed, you win. If all of you die, you lose. So they have energy as well. But they can revive each other. And I guess that's where the key part of the mechanic is guarding the dead bodies of those that you've killed. Because the Work Onyx, who are punching and destroying the extractors, are also invisible. You become visible when you punch, or when an enforcer with a gun is standing near you. They sort of have and sort of looking in your direction, they have a bit of a radius cone where you will become visible if you're standing within that. So that's where the strategy most is. It's, okay, 2 of my allies are dead. They're really protecting them. I should probably break this extractor now. As soon as I start punching it, though, they'll be able to see where I am. Maybe they'll move away and I can go revive my teammate. Revives are instant and bring both your teammate and you back to full health. So that, I feel like that's kind of a little bit broken, because if you have even a mildly competent team, you can just keep reviving each other, and you have a period of invincibility. You can run away and revive again. So maybe if there was a cooldown on that, maybe like even 10 seconds to revive, so that you sort of had to hide a bit when someone died, or I don't know. But as the achievements go in the game, there's the tutorial achievement. Each of the characters, or basically each of the characters, has a character-specific achievement. So for the guy that puts a shield on his friend, if your friend is getting shot at the same time you put a shield on him, you get an achievement for saving your friend. As a shooter guy, if you are shooting someone that you've trapped and kill them, there's an achievement for that. There's also achievements for hitting level 30, which is what most people have till at the end, and reaching 50 wins. I got pretty much all of the sort of character-specific achievements, bar 2 of them, just playing against bots. For the other 2, I boosted with Shadowless Edge and R56 Cooper S11. We got the last couple done because it's just way easier to set up with more people. I would say probably 4. You'd need 4 minimum to make it really easy to get everything done. And then any more than that is just sort of bonus. You'll be able to do more things and you might be more efficient for everyone. But I think 4 people, you'll get it done quicker than you would. Obviously, you'll get it done quicker than with 6 people, but you can't have more than 6, and 4 is the minimum to make it really easy. The whole game took me about, I want to say like 6 hours on Saturday, 6 hours on Sunday. Probably less than that though. There is a walkthrough for the game which sort of explains how you do each of the achievements against bots. And our very own Warren, planting42, wrote that. He also has a Cronus script in there that is used for idling the matches. What it was previously though was there was only quick match, which would try to get you against people, or bot match, which would put you against bots. Now they've added private matches, so the script kind of doesn't always select the bot match because it maybe sometimes goes too far in the menus. What I would recommend is, and I got this from Shadowless because he said it, and I was like, oh yeah, that's actually quite obvious, and I don't know why I wasn't doing this before. So you set up a private match with yourself on one team with 2 bots, and 1 bot alone on the other team. So it's essentially a 3v1. And then you just set this idle script to work. And what the idle script does is it basically keeps you moving so that you don't get kicked for standing still in a lobby. Keeps you moving. Your 2 teammates are playing against 1 enemy, and they'll more often than not win. And you can just sort of leave that overnight, and you'll probably, without the triple XP weekend, you'll probably take about 30 hours. I think that's how long planting took, but that's about where you're at. That's probably the most efficient method to do it, is in the private matches, because you'll get 500 points for a win, 200 points for doing a consecutive match, so that's 700, plus probably around 300 for how long the game took, is about 1,000 experience, and each level is going to take 10,000 experience to level up, pretty much. So 10 wins, which they go pretty quickly, but again, if you're sleeping or whatever, you don't even notice how long it takes.
You probably get a few levels each night, I suppose.
Yeah. Probably even more than that. You probably get, I would reckon you'd probably get 10 levels in a night.
Okay.
Because this specific one is slightly more efficient than the original method that Warren was using with going into bot matches, because it would kick you out of the bot match every time, whereas this one, you load straight back into the next match with the roles reversed. So if you're shooting, you're not this time. If you weren't, you're shooting this time. So it gets you into the matches a lot quicker than it was previously. So this week I earned 1,660 Gamerscore. So obviously, yeah, a little bit down on what I normally do. And we'll take that one game that I didn't talk about out of the show notes, won't we, Alex?
Oh, I did take it out of the show notes.
I was like, yep, probably should delete that here. Okay, what have you been playing, Alex?
So also on your random to-do list, you're on 18 points.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I see, and this happens every single month. I go really hard for about a week, and then the rest of them are obviously ones I didn't want to do in that week, so I just put them off until the end of the month, and maybe Friday I get some more, but I could have easily gotten 25, and I'm now sitting at 18 with nothing in the last 2 weeks in terms of RTDL achievements. It's a problem with me.
So I'm just having a quick look. I'm on 17. You're on 18. I'm going to get to probably get to 20 by the end of the month. So Planting. Oh, Planting's got 4.
Yeah,
so
he's
there's
done.
Planting,
Let's put up. Just
me, you,
and
Jester, Ben L72. Oh, 16 and 16 for both of them. So they've AH101's got Wakapil on 21, Matriarch on 17, Big L on 21, Elroy OMJ on 11. Is Rorkadude their 5th?
Yeah.
He's pink.
Yes, he is.
Okay.
He's special.
All right. Okay, so that was all your games played, right? So I can go
just
on with
those
mine.
3. Go for
So,
it.
like Chin, I've actually found playing with random to-do list is good in terms of starting games, but it's bad in terms of the way I normally play video games. I like to kind of stick to a couple of games, finish them, and then move on. Unless they're a super long grind like Gears of War, or just for fun like Rocket League. I like to play things and get them done and then move on. So playing for the random to-do list achievements has been really difficult for me. Actually, it's been really different, but it's been difficult, not necessarily in a bad way. It's kind of forcing me to change it up. I've started so many new games this month, but this week I ended up playing Kona. So I bought this on a sale 12 months ago, I'd guess, but I'd really been looking forward to playing it since I saw the shorts for it, the trailers for it. It looked like an open world, kind of a survival game that's story driven, where you're in Canada, and that's what I found so far. So you're in Canada, you've been paid to go to this town and investigate some stuff, and when you get there, you're not expecting what you end up finding there. So I only played, the walkthrough video is about 2 hours and 5 or 10 minutes. I think I'm about 25 minutes into it. So I guess I'm an eighth, a quarter of the way there nearly. But it's strange because there's no one there. Like, I found one person dead. I've seen some wolves and everything else is empty. So I'm like, what the hell's going on?
Everybody's gone to Rapture. Rapture meaning they've been taken away, not the underwater city in BioShock.
That's that game.
That's a game called Everybody's Gone to Rapture.
I think I'm thinking of a different game. Is that the one where you're walking around, there's those swirly yellow light places, you walk up to them and they start talking?
I can't remember. I don't think it's on Xbox, so I don't know that you'd played it.
It's not.
PC,
it's not the one that I'm thinking of.
Okay.
I was thinking it might have been on PlayStation. Anyway, I'll have a look at it later. We'll talk off air. But Kona, it's interesting game so far. I'm enjoying it. I'm wondering where the story's kind of going.
Yellow Swirly Lights is right, by the way. Yeah.
Is it that game?
Yeah.
Everyone's gone to Rapture?
Yeah. Looking at screenshots, there's Yellow Swirly Lights. I assume they talk to you. It's been a while, but there is kind of Yellow Swirly Lights on the PS4.
I don't know why I thought it was called something else then. Anyway, so we played some Rocket League. Like I said, with struggling to play things, I didn't want to start things if I didn't have a random to-do list achievement in it. And I didn't want to continue playing things that I'd got all my random to-do list in it, because my pool is, I think, 1,132 achievements. And once it drops below 1,000, I'm adding games in that I haven't started.
Yeah.
And games I probably don't want to play. So I kind of felt like when you open your closet and you're like, oh man, I've got nothing to wear, I'll just wear the jeans that I always wear. That's what I did with Rocket League. So I felt quite guilty playing Rocket League a lot this month even. But, I mean, it's so much fun, even when we're losing. And I did a lot of losing this week. I think I found every brain-dead teammate I could.
Yeah,
so,
that was a bad night for you.
Oh, where we lost 6 in a row?
Even when we joined up, just everything went wrong. Not even just from you, from me as well. But
it's just one of those nights. They just happen sometimes, and you got to know when to call it quits, I think.
Which probably would have been 10 games before you did.
Oh, whatever. I also played a game called Bloody Zombies, so I just wanted to shout out to Jimbot in our Discord. He came on and helped me get the online achievement, which was one of my random to-do list achievements. Oh my god, the lag between Australia and the UK is absolutely disgusting. But Bloody Zombies is a side-scrolling brawler game where obviously there are zombies and you head through some of the streets of the UK to, get to the end of the level and fight the bosses and, do all that kind of standard zombie stuff. So I'm pretty interested in that game so far, but I guess I need to get a random to-do list later in the game to keep playing it. And I also popped one more achievement for random to-do list in Plague Inc. So if you haven't heard me say random to-do list enough, I'm going to say it one more time. I'm on 17 for my random to-do list score, and I only earned 200 Gamerscore this week. So,
do you think Jimbot recognised any of the places in your zombie game?
Oh no, I don't think it's true to life. I only think it's in the UK because they have English accent. All right, mate, let's smack this cobber.
Oh, I thought you meant the zombies. For some, I don't know why my brain went to, yeah, the zombies would have English accents. That makes sense. Instead of the people, but...
Was it moans in English?
Right, moans in Cockney.
Get off your slag. Alright. Alright, so we've got a sale happening this week. You wouldn't know it because there's not much good in there, but we've done the hard work for you listeners and scoured through. So, Kirby, hit us with those easy points that were coming through the sale.
Yeah, we have Snooker Nation Championship is 20% off, $4.79. Cyber Complex is 40% off, $5.99. Day Through Time, 60% off, $3.99. Ginger Beyond the Crystal, 67% off, $6.59. Tekken 7 is 50% off and $25, so still expensive, but I think it's only like an 8 to tower hour completion.
Tower hours. I hate spending tower hours in games, yeah.
8 to 10 hour completion. And Vertical Drop Heroes HD, 70% off, $2.99.
I love that game.
That's quote unquote easy. Sometimes you just need to keep bashing your head against the wall until it works, but sometimes you get an amazing run and everything goes perfectly. But yeah, so not the best of sales, and even on the 360 side, there's 4 titles, so good on them. But we're coming off a big backwards compatibility sale, a big ID at Xbox sale. We're coming into next week's regular sale will be, I assume, pretty pathetic as well, but that's because on June the 6th, there's going to be an E3 sale dropping. I don't know how amazing that will be. Probably better, but, maybe it's the same old. We usually see it at same discounts. We've always seen it. I'm not sure, but I know that I'm pretty sure next week's sale isn't going to be good because of the E3 sale. So look forward to that, everyone. That'll be... Yeah. As for recommendations, I've picked a game that I spoke about a while ago. 39 Days to Mars is a co-op puzzle adventure game where you are controlling 2 hands. If you're playing single player, you control both hands. I haven't played in co-op. I don't know if you need 2 controllers or if you just split the controller. But you're essentially controlling 2 hands on the screen and trying to do puzzles, whether that's gardening or making tea or making a perfect scone or trying to read a book. Or
I remember you talking about
pedaling a bicycle, yeah. So you are attempting to get to Mars. That's your journey. If you're playing in single player, you're playing with your cat. So me and Mr. Gibbles, we call him. I don't know what his name is. He's Mr. Gibbles now. We're completing all the puzzles. So the physics are deliberately a bit janky. So things will pivot at the point of your hand. So to pick things up properly, you need to have one hand on either end of, say, the knife that you're using to scoop the jam onto your scone. And then the liquid physics are a bit blobby. You're in space, so even though there's gravity, it's kind of still, everything's a bit spherical. It's
sounding a bit like Manual Samuel.
It is. That's a good point. It is a bit like Manual Samuel in the sense that you kind of have to do everything, like all the minute little things that you you sort of don't think about you have to do. You know, admittedly, you don't have to blink so that you can see properly or breathe in so that you don't pass out. But yeah, you're taking those. It's micromanaging your hands. It's micromanaging how your hands work and how things are being applied. It's really fun. There is a speedrun achievement. I think it's half an hour or an hour. So I can't remember off the top of my head. Probably shouldn't deter you because once you've played it a couple times, you kind of know what you're doing. There will be a lot of replaying because you need to make 39 perfect cups of tea and 39 bad cups of tea and 39 perfect scones and 39 bad scones. So you will be replaying it a lot to be able to get to those scone moments and the tea moments, which are in between every other major moment. And then every major thing has you did it successfully, you failed it, you made it to Mars failing everything, you made it to Mars not failing once, that sort of thing. So there's a lot of forced replayability, but the puzzles themselves do change up sort of minutely with each run. So in the gardening level, you might have needed 6 of a certain leaf the first time, and the next time it might be that you don't necessarily need 6, you just need to have more than this other type of leaf. So if you cut the other type of leaf down to 1, then any amount of your original leaf is going to be more than that, so it's fine. Things like that. So it's kind of it's an interesting puzzle game. I enjoyed the bit that I played. I've gone back to it a couple times and just sort of done a little bit more, but really enjoying it. Alex, what would you recommend?
I'd recommend Dogs
muzzle?
That Bark. Actually, funny you mentioned muzzle because I found out you can take your dog into Bunnings.
If it's muzzled?
Yes, if it's muzzled, and that changed because a 5-year-old kid got bitten by a dog. Anyway.
Yeah. I teach my dog to bite 5-year-old kids, so that's probably for the best.
Okay. Alright, so my game recommendation this week is for the Uncanny Valley. So it's 70% off. It's $3.89. So I really enjoyed the horror atmosphere of this game. It's a very weird game, but it's a very interesting game. So it's a side-scrolling kind of story game where, based on the decisions that you make and whether you're successful or unsuccessful in doing certain things, it progresses the story. So I guess it's kind of like a choose-your-own-adventure game in that regard. But you can finish it in about 4 hours or so, I think it was, from when I played it. Mm-hmm. But seeing all the different story parts, which is pretty much what you're doing in that 4 hours, is pretty interesting. So we talked before the show. It's reminded me also a lot of The Long Reach. I think that was what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Very similar themes in terms of side-scrolling and the themes, the horror themes there. So it's pretty cheap. I mean, if you don't like it, it's $3.89. I mean, you're probably okay with spending that on a game that could be really good for you. I'm not planning on purchasing anything this week, Kirby. I mean, I'm assuming
of course
you are.
I am, yeah.
Yeah, I know you. I can
So
see.
you know me. I have purchased Ages of Mages, The Last Keeper, Cyber Complex, Sundered Eldritch Edition, and Shalnor Legends Sacred Lands. I'm gearing up for the Bean Dive, so I'm stocking up on games.
They all sound like manga story related games. Maybe not Cyber Complex, but the other ones do.
I don't know what Age of Mages is, but Sundered Eldritch Edition is hack and slash Metroidvania. Shalnor Legends is it's a old school RPG, like I think original Zelda. That sort of style, that top downish, moving, cutting grass, using bow and arrow. Yeah, you know the drill.
Lawn cutting simulator. Yeah.
I think there's an achievement for cutting 100 blocks of grass.
Of course there is. Alright, well, we've got some new games coming, so...
We do.
What do we got?
On Wednesday, we have Void Bastards, and that is dropping directly into Game Pass. So if you have Game Pass, you don't need to buy it. You can just pick it up. They've said sort of a first-person shooter strategy kind of game, but I think it's more like a roguelite in that things are a bit randomized, and you start off and pick up things as you go along, and you're taking prisoners and escaping a ship, I think. First person shooter, roguelite, what can go wrong there? So many things. So much can go wrong.
Look out behind you, Chocolate Bear.
The art style looks really good. The art style is probably what most people will pick up on straight away. Let's just hope it's... I know the achievement list is horrible, but let's hope someone finds a way to cheese beating it on the hardest difficulty. That'd be nice. Wow. Yeah. Warlock's Tower comes out on Friday as well. That is the new Radalaika title. So that's also... That will be in the pool, and that'll be the last game in the pool for the prizes. So anything released after that won't be in this lot of prizes. It may be in something else. I've actually already got next month's game. It's a bit of an older game that I forgot I had. But, yeah.
That's an interesting tease. There you go.
Yeah. I'm going to get you to say it every single time.
Oh, okay. It's going to be a fun one then. All right.
And I'll send it to you after the show. You can think of a question that'll go alongside it.
Oh, all right.
Trust me, you're not going to be able to. On Friday, we have a weird one. Pixar is leaving game preview.
Was that game that was temporarily...
Yes.
Not temporarily free. It had a 1 hour trial.
It has a 1 hour trial that you can beat the game in. It was free before it got achievements. And then once it got achievements, it bumped up to like $30, I want to say.
I thought it was 25, but yeah, it's up there.
It's something quite ridiculous. It's essentially Ark Survival Evolved and Minecraft put together. Literally, that's what it is. It leaves game preview. It already has achievements, so it's not going to get a list. It may get an update with more achievements. Not 100% sure about that. But, when we have a game leaving game preview, that's what we set the release date as. Because now it's officially released. It's not just in beta. Golem Gates comes out on Friday. That's a collectible card game of some kind. Action RPG, I don't really know. Jimbot will be looking forward to this. I think he knows it. I think he knows it's a collectible card game. I don't think it's a card game on TA yet, but it probably will be from what I hear and have seen. So, yeah, we'll find out. And lastly, Helmet, the Badass from Hell. Have you? It's a shoot 'em up. I think it's a bullet hell game. Have you heard anything weird about this? Because there's one thing quite interesting about it. I'm wondering whether you're
talking about the achievement list.
Yes.
So it reminds me of
Distrust.
That's the one. So Distrust had 10 achievements with 0 gamer score. Actually, it was a lot more than that. It was about 40 achievements with 0 gamer score and 5 that were worth 200.
Each,
So Helmet's kind of gone down that route. There's 22 achievements. 4 of them are for 200 gamer score. 17 of them are for 1 gamer score. And 1 of them is for 183 gamer score.
Yep.
So...
Yeah,
that is... At least you can't complain about 0 gamer score achievements, I suppose. But you complain about the 1 gamer scores instead.
The thing... See, and what this will happen though is those 1 gamer score achievements will be the difficult ones, and that will skew the ratio poorly.
Well, I'm not sure about that, because I was having a look at the 200 gamer score. Unlock all transformations, buy 1 of each item in the shop, use every weapon, kill every enemy type, and what's the last one? Do 15,000 damage with barrels.
Mm-hmm.
So they sound like difficult ones, but then you have a 1 gamer score for deal over 100,000 cumulative damage. Well,
that's not bad.
That sounds bad, but there's 4 gamers out of 10 that have already got it, so maybe it's not that bad.
Kill the demon at least 10 times after receiving Professor Transformation. So that's...
that sounds very unhappy.
I don't know what that means. There's also an achievement for acquiring Professor Transformation. Complete a playthrough in under 20 minutes.
Well, it's got a diamond.
It does have a diamond.
The Professor Transformation, so someone's unlocked it.
Yeah. So, yeah. But even then, whenever you've got sort of really on the harder end of achievements with low gamer score, it messes up what the ratio looks like, because the way ratio is calculated is the true achievement score divided by the gamer score.
Yeah.
So if all your hard achievements are, worth, if all your easy 200 pointers are a 1 ratio, and all your 1 pointer achievements are at a 99 ratio, that's not going to reflect accurately.
That's right.
If one of the 200s was a 99, yeah, that you're bumping up that score a lot.
And that was Tarragon's big problem.
Yeah.
With the way that true achievement score was calculated.
Yeah, I've really been pushing for an average achievement ratio. So, the TA ratio might end up being a 2, but your average ratio might be 3.5 because of the way your scores are skewed. So I feel like that's at least, even if that's just an option, not everyone has to look at it, see that ratio. If that's an option, is you can choose to see that ratio displayed rather than the TA divided by GS. Yeah, I feel like that more accurately reflects it than this. This only works if every achievement is worth the same. It's the only way it works. But that's fine. Not saying high ratio achievements aren't high ratio games aren't difficult, just that sometimes it's not reflected accurately because your hard achievements might be lower gamer score than your easy achievements.
Yeah. Well, I think was it Bullet Witch that had a 1 gamer score for finishing the game on hell difficulty?
Possibly.
Which presumably was one of the hardest achievements in the game.
I know Infinite Undiscovery has, like, the final achievement you're going to get is 1 gamer score. Yeah, it looks like the highest ratios, all stages were beaten. Hell mode has a 1 gamer score achievement and has a 3 ratio, 3.48, so it's worth 3 TA.
Can't even round it up
And
to 4.
you would, by the looks of it, you'd need to beat it in hard mode to unlock chaos mode, then beat it in chaos mode to unlock hell mode, then beat it in hell mode.
Yep. Those progressive difficulty unlocks are so...
Kind of glad I never played that game now.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a game for me. It's too much for me. What about this week? Any knobs and discos?
No, nothing major. Nothing really worth going on about.
Alright. Well, then we've got a question written in from one of the newest people in our Discord. It's, hopefully I don't butcher your name. Send me a private message if I do. It's either Valak or Vala KC. Valach? I don't know.
Valakaka.
Yeah, I'm sorry if I've butchered your name. One-eyed Valakaka.
Marsage. He's best friends with my buddy Marsage.
Marsage. So the question is, how do you feel about achievements that make you buy hardware you don't have? So we talked before the show about what this might mean, and they kind of came up with a few examples of them. So Rainbow Six Vegas, one of the Rainbow Six Vegas games, you had to buy a vision camera if you didn't already have one to put your face on a player. There's obviously
for an achievement,
for an achievement. There's the Guitar Hero games and Guitar Hero Live, I guess more recently, where the old guitars were incompatible. The Kinect, which I guess is now a defunct peripheral kind of, but there was an achievement, I think, was it IDARB? You needed to hold the...
Yeah, IDARB, you needed to do something with the Kinect. And,
Yeah.
and Project Spark needed to connect. I had to go to a
Yes.
friend's place to get that.
Yeah, so I guess how do you feel, Chin? How do you feel about those achievements?
I'm not so bothered by the ones where you need them to play the game. Like you need a Kinect to play this game. This is a Kinect game. I'm not that bothered.
Like a Just Dance game,
Like
or
the older Just
the Kinect
Dance
Fun
games,
Labs, yeah.
Your Kinect is the controller. There's no other way to do it. Now, I don't have as much of an issue with that. Kind of annoyed at Guitar Hero Live for changing up the guitar. I mean, again, you still need it for the whole game, but the fact that you've brought up a line of guitars and they're all sort of they're all pretty much the same. I think they all pretty much worked either with adapters or whatnot in the later games in the series. So, you know, you could still use them, and then suddenly you couldn't anymore. I mean, I didn't
It's a slap in the face.
particularly agree with that. The one-offs where you're not expecting it, like using the vision cam in the Rainbow Six Vegas, whatever, in Viva Pinata, Troubles in Paradise, that's dumb and annoying. Where, you know, it's just one thing. I guess, yes, technically you can use it to enhance the gameplay, but you don't need it at all. It's never needed at any point. It's not required except for this achievement. I mean, in Viva Pinata, you can use it to bring things into your Pinata farm, but you don't need it at all. It's never needed to play the game. You can hit the highest level and have an awesome farm without it. This just can shortcut it. Yeah, I don't. So when it's unexpected like that, I don't really. I don't agree with it. Valak mentioned Lara Croft in the Temple of Osiris needing 4 controllers to do the local co-op achievement, where you need 4 controllers local. You can't do it online. It's I think it's complete a tomb with 4 controllers, 4 local players. So you have to have the controllers. There's no way around it. You can't sort of plug in a guitar and figure it out from there, like it's with some titles where it just needs the controller to be active. You actually have to use it. That's annoying. So, I mean, in general, I'm okay with it because I have a lot of peripherals and I have a lot of stuff where it's not going to be an issue. But I could see why it's a bad move in general for developers. And I'm glad that they were starting to die out having the peripherals. We have new games coming with this new light gun. So I don't know where the market is for that, but we'll see.
Time Crisis, and that's about it. I'm kind of with you. I'm not a huge fan of them. Apart from Guitar Hero, which, I mean, you already said you buy the guitar with the game, otherwise you don't play it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're one of those people that can play Guitar Hero on a controller, wow, more power to you. That's crazy. But I don't like them. The only one probably that I did like was in Gears of War 2, I ended up buying a turbo controller so I could turbo the replaying a certain part of the game for the 100,000 kills for Seriously 2.0.
Yeah.
I liked that because I actually used the turbo controller. I didn't like that I had to buy one to get it done.
Oh, did you though?
No, of course not, but I wasn't going to do that.
Yeah. But the game you didn't have to buy it to play the game or to get... You didn't have to have it for an achievement.
Yeah, but...
As opposed to the vision camera,
yes,
you actually... Yeah.
For me to get the achievement, I had to have it. You can stretch the parameters of the question. But I'm generally not a fan of it. I think that it's possible to do it in a good way. When I think about that, I think like the Jackbox games. You don't have to buy a phone because you've already got one, but it is a hardware that doesn't come with the game. And I think that's a really good way of integrating certain things into video games. And I feel like if you had more examples like that, it'd be generally more acceptable. Mm-hmm. But if you make me go out and spend ridiculous money so I can put my face on a character in a game for one achievement, no, I'm not a huge fan of that.
And I like that with Jackbox, you don't need an app. You don't need a third-party program. You just go to a website, enter a code. There's a more recent one called It's Quiz Time. It has to be a phone app, so maybe it doesn't. Maybe it can be any smart device, so your iPads and your tablets will work as well. I think it's actually okay, but like I can't use my computer. I can't use multiple windows of Chrome because
no session box.
I can't do that. I have to have, for one of the achievements, I have to play with 8 people. I have to have 8 smartphone devices or smart devices that can download the app so that I can get this achievement. Luckily, I'm in a situation where I can get that from, if I needed to, from my family. So on one family,
I thought you were going to say you had 8 phones, mate.
No, I'm not certain Windows Phone guys, but I have a phone. My girlfriend has a phone and a tablet. Both my parents have phones. In fact, my mum has a work phone, which is an iPhone as well. So that's another 3 devices. We're at 6 now. My dad has 2 iPads because he got a new one and just didn't throw out the old one. He still uses it for stuff. So that's 8 devices. My sister's got a phone and an iPad. My brother's in Melbourne, so he's scum. We don't talk about him.
Oi.
Not because he lives in Melbourne, because he's not here and can't provide me his phone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right. That's an important clarification to make.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we'll move on. We're going to go into the milestones. So, another week, a bit light on the milestones, but there's some pretty sick milestones in here.
Bottom one's an old one. Is it? No, it's not. That's a new one.
Which one? The bottom one that I just added in?
Yeah, that's... Yeah.
You read the first 2 because you've written a little bit extra about them as well.
I have, and now I'm questioning what I've done. Because NBA Kirkland has hit 500,000 Gamerscore and has reached a new milestone of 500 completed games. Oh, I see what's happened. I forget that when you look at someone else's tag, you see it on your settings, not theirs. He's probably got it set to all DLC. I don't, so his number on his completed games little bar is higher than 500. That's why I got confused. Because I see it as 520, so I'm like, I don't know how he got a milestone for 500. I figured it out. Yeah, NBA Kirkland hit 500,000 game score and 500 completed games on the same title. He completed the arcade game series Galaga. That's the Xbox One, more recent one. And he did this because his very first completion was the original Galaga on the, I assume, Xbox Live Arcade. So it's a good little nod to get both 500,000 and 500. And it was 500,000 on the nose, I want to say, with that completion.
I hope so. Otherwise, it doesn't count. We've talked about this.
Oh, man, you're going to hate my 700,000 then.
Oh, okay.
I've only just noticed I'm getting close, but yeah. So that's good on him. Keith 271179 has reached a new milestone of 500,000 True Achievement score. What the Fog has reached a new milestone of 12,000 achievements won, and you can finish it off.
Jimbot UK 19,000 achievements won. We saw while we were scrolling through, it's Philip Wendell's birthday today, so happy birthday. Mm-hmm. And Kingsman. Oh, that just appeared.
It
wow,
did.
That's very,
I had a look.
typing there.
Yeah.
Kingsman 2625, 700,000 True Achievement score. Impressive. But this week's big milestone, Big Al is now in the top 2,000 Gamerscore leaderboard for Xbox One. So, good job. All right. Well, that's it. Episode 43. If you would like to get in touch with the show, like I said, for the variety of reasons, whether you go, hey Alex, I want to be in a leadership position, or you want to talk to us about Patreon, whatever it is, you can send us
Alex,
an email.
Your perfect game is trash, and you say no, it's not. It's just not
and
for you.
You are wrong. Email hello@realgamerscore.com, Twitter @realgamerscore, Discord discord.io/realgamerscore, and Patreon is patreon.com/realgamerscore. You can send in questions to the show. You can also send in interesting news articles. We've had people do that in the past, and we'll have a talk about them on the show. Today would have been a perfect opportunity for that. And also, if you're interested in being in the show, get in touch with me privately on Discord or on True Achievements. I'm ProfessorPluto on there. You can also subscribe to the show, any of the platforms that you use on, more than one if you like. And you can leave us a review. We'll read it out on the show. Tell your friends about us. Retweet us on Twitter and subscribe to us on YouTube and Patreon if you so desire. Now, Kirby, if someone wanted to get in touch with you and say, hey, your friend Wang has a really cool name, where would they find you?
What a throwback. I completely forgot about that. See, I'm glad he doesn't listen. What was the question again?
Where do people find you on the social medias?
I was so distracted by Wang that I couldn't think. You would find me pretty much everywhere using the name ChinDocta. So that would be Twitter, True Achievements, Xbox Live, on Discord. I have an Instagram, but it's empty. You can try contacting me. I don't think I remember my login, though. I'm just sort of parking that account. Or on mixer.com, all under ChinDocta, as I said, ChinDocta.
All right. And if you wanted to find me, you can find me on True Achievements, Xbox, Twitter, and on Mixer. That's ProfessorPluto. And you can find me on Twitch, ProfessorPluto1. I have thought about the name of my zombie game, and I haven't been able to come up with a decent name. So, get out of some socials.
Zombie Hunters Are Us.
Zombie Hunters Are Us. Yeah, I'm probably not choosing that one, but maybe have a chat in the Discord about it if you've got a good name for an open world zombie game. Yeah, so that's it.
Days
Episode
gone.
40.
Wait, you said good. Never mind.
Oh, not 60 out of 100. Oh dear. Okay. Let's finish up episode 43 on a high note. See you later, everyone. We'll catch you in episode 44.
See ya.